In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the many ways the fixed and growth mindsets show up in software development organizations. Almost every aspect of software development organizations is influenced by whether the people of the organization have a fixed or a growth mindset. This includes the design of the organization itself, its culture, how it adapts to change, and how people within that organization communicate, manage, measure, motivate, hire, and fire. It all starts with the design of the organization. Is it composed of self-managing, self-organizing, cross-functional teams, or siloed, hierarchical command and control fiefdoms? If you have the growth mindset, you are comfortable with failure, and you are willing to risk giving people authority to do things they aren't yet skilled at. You can take the risk of delegating decision-making authority, resulting in teams that are self-managing and self-organizing. You expect those teams to be comprised of people who can learn to work effectively with people outside their silo and learn skills they didn't have when they entered the organization, resulting in cross-functional, collaborative feature teams instead of siloed, contract negotiating component teams. You structure your organization for learning rather than for avoiding failure. The culture of such organizations is healthy. It welcomes new ideas from anywhere, inside and outside the organization, and is willing to try new things and take risks because that's how we learn. It does not subscribe to the not invented here philosophy. Such organizations are not only open to diverse ideas, but open to a diversity in their people. Each role in the organization has a respect for the other roles, rather than the elitism associated with some parts of the tech world. When such an organization needs to respond to changes in the market by changing itself, it is ready. Adopting new principles and practices like those of the Agile frameworks like XP, Scrum, Lean, and Kanban, or developing a DevOps mentality comes naturally to such organizations because change is welcomed as growth. Fixed mindset organizations don't believe they need to change, even when the market is telling them otherwise. Why? Because they can place the blame anywhere but on themselves. Mindset also determines how organizations communicate internally. Fixed mindset organizations give feedback differently from growth mindset organizations. People in fixed mindset organizations, regardless of their own mindset, sometimes withhold criticism to prevent ego damage and to get along. They know the organization will use criticism as a stick instead of for growth, so they keep it to themselves. Fixed mindset organizations praise talent and intelligence, perpetuating the fixed mindset. Want to get out of this trap? Take a look at the book Radical Candor by Kim Scott. People in fixed mindset organizations complain and blame, and they fail to see the role they had in a situation. A fixed mindset organization tends to create dominant personalities that need to look smart and submissive personalities that need to avoid looking stupid. So you get conflict avoidance, and you miss out on constructive debate. At growth mindset organizations, curiosity drives people. Nobody needs to look smart or cares whether they look stupid. People are happy to have a debate simply for the learning that comes out of it. What does a manager look like at a fixed mindset company? They can't take feedback about themselves, especially from subordinates. If they started as engineers, they likely saw their own transition into management as a promotion rather than as a lateral move. They think, I know best, that's why I have this job, rather than, I don't have all the answers and ideas, let's work together. Some of them have an inability to delegate because they can't let go of being the engineer with all the answers. And they stick with first impressions, both positive and negative, and pigeonhole their subordinates into roles with strictly defined duties. Mindset also plays a role in how you evaluate people and what you do with those evaluations. Measuring someone or something for the purpose of giving that measurement directly to the person to help them grow is different from measuring someone to reward or punish them. Some examples of misused metrics include team velocity. As Doc Norton said on the Developer on Fire podcast when referring to velocity,
why is velocity a poor metric in the first place? It basically is a decent metric for teams that are super healthy, but it doesn't help you get to super healthy. And if you use these other metrics such as lead time, cycle time, team joy, code quality to get to healthy, you no longer need velocity because the way you're going to do your forecasting is different and actually mathematically better.
Using velocity to measure teams against one another is a particularly unhelpful practice that appeals to the fixed mindset eager to measure for rewarding and punishing. Code coverage is another metric that helps guide a team in how they test software, but setting company-wide code coverage minimums just triggers shallow coverage, as people write tests that boost coverage but don't actually test anything.
I don't get it. All this so we score higher on the state tests? If we're teaching the kids the test questions, what is it assessing in them?
Nothing. It assesses us. The test scores go up. They can say the schools are improving. The scores stay down. They can't.
Juking the stats.
Excuse me?
Making robberies into larcenies. Making rapes disappear. You juke the stats and majors become colonels. I've been here before.
Juking the stats, or gaming the measurement, is a very fixed mindset idea. If you wanted to use the measurement to actually learn something, you wouldn't choose to game it. But the gaming of metrics is so common that we have Goodhart's law, which states when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. On the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, Lenore Brockman tells a story of how the addition of incentives to a bug database for testers and developers just led to reduced transparency.
There was once a team where the testers were talking very well with developers, but then a new bonus system was introduced. And the new bonus system would reduce developer bonuses if bugs were found in their code at the stage when it went through testing. And it would reduce tester bonuses if any bugs were found in production. The ticket system got much less bugs reported into it because none of the testers wanted to eat away their friends' bonuses. So bugs started to be communicated only in person directly to the programmer, reducing management's ability to prioritize which bugs are important to fix and which are not.
We measure so that we can give people feedback on their performance. But even this can become a victim of the fixed mindset. Look at how career ladders are often structured in fixed mindset organizations. They reflect a hierarchical division of labor where architects design and engineers implement. The only path upward on such a ladder is through gaining more and more domain expertise. There is little to gain in taking work outside your area of expertise, which discourages cross-discipline skill growth. This appears again in how fixed mindset companies do their hiring. They hire experts who will stay in their lane. Growth mindset companies hire T-shaped people who can become experts in new disciplines. The interview processes at fixed mindset companies further enforce the fixed mindset. People hire people who just like them. They don't hire people who are so good they make them look bad, and interviews become hazing rituals where the interviewer shows off their own knowledge instead of evaluating the candidate. Everywhere you look in a fixed mindset company, you see the signs of the fixed mindset. But if you look carefully, you may also see opportunities for the growth mindset to take its place. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button so that you don't miss an episode.